So were you there the day Google walked in the door?
I was.
Tell me about that.
So we had somebody who we'd worked with, Andy Bechtolsheim, who we had backed at Sun, who's one of the founders of Sun, had found these guys at Stanford. Andy was working closely with them, and said, "You got to meet these guys, and you got to see what's going on." And at that time, Yahoo was dominating search, and Microsoft was sticking its nose in it, and things like that. And Larry and Sergey came in, and you just knew they had it. And while their search was certainly creative, they had come up with some very innovative business models and ways to monetize the web, and you could just see they were great people with great ideas.
Now, how did you know that they had it? What told you that?
Well, so there's two stories to that. One is we're brilliant investors and we always know. Then there's the truth, which is we look back and go, wow, we got that one right, didn't we? First of all, they had created a lot of momentum very early on. They had a very clever idea, not just in how they were doing the search and how they were ranking things by who was looking at it and things, but in how they planned to monetize it. And you could just see the fire in their eyes, and that's really one of the things you look for.
Hello again. Our guest today is Weston Smith, who's the former Chief Financial Officer of HealthSouth Corporation. Weston, you are or were a certified public accountant. You're a graduate with honors from the University of North Alabama, but maybe most interestingly of all, you're a convicted felon. How in the world did that happen?
I don't know. It was lack of showing courage and standing up for what was right when things started happening that I knew weren't right. It was a lack of courage on my part.
How much time did you spend in prison?
I spent 15 months in prison and then a subsequent 4 months in a halfway house once I got back home.
And this was the result of charges related to your service as Chief Financial Officer at HealthSouth Corporation?
Yes, yes it was.
Okay. What blew it all up?
What blew it all up in terms of it coming to light, the fraud, I had finally just had enough. And
you personally had had enough?
I had had enough.
So were you the whistleblower?
Yeah, I was a whistleblower. I was the first person to contact the government and come forward and tell them what was going on.
That must have been a traumatic experience. Tell me about it. Harry, I remember visiting in your office on a number of occasions, and I was always so impressed with how quiet your office was. Not only the administrative assistants who were working outside your office worked very quietly in a very quiet environment, but when I came into your office, it was just a very peaceful place, and your style is a very quiet, soft-spoken style. Despite that, you ran multi-billion-dollar entities. You're a fascinating example of an entrepreneur who has done dynamic things. How in the world have you managed to do that as a soft-spoken executive when other people feel the need to be so loud and brash and high-powered?
Well, I must tell you, I think genetics plays a role in that, because my father was always very soft-spoken, but you learn to listen to him. But he was always very calm, and sometimes I actually thought he was too calm. So people have always told me, you're very calm. I've never seen you angry or, shouting at anybody. That's just what I inherited, and that's the way I live my life.
What's going on inside? Are you in turmoil inside?
I'm not in turmoil inside, actually. So I don't have ulcers, and I don't have hypertension. Even while I do a lot of things and I am competitive at times, I'm pretty calm.